So this is with our dorsal surface up right here. First thing you have on your list is meninges. Here are the meninges. This is this part right here. So I'll have a piece of that on the test with a pin stuck in it. So those are the meninges. Then you have to know the cerebrum. So this is the cerebrum. Then you've got to know your midbrain. And here is the midbrain, right in between. So we have the superior colliculi, the inferior colliculi. The whole thing is the corpora quadrigemina. So that is our midbrain.
Oh.
Then you have to know. Then you have to know the cerebellum. And then this one's got a little bit of pons on it. I don't think you're going to have the pons on there that you're going to have to worry about. Because I think that's about the only piece of pons that we have at all. Okay, then, next thing is that you have to know your longitudinal fissure. That's what you cut through. That's right here. Then remember you have to know the gyrus. That's a ridge. You have to know the sulci, and those are the depressions. Then the next thing we look at the ventral surface, and on our ventral surface, you have got to know, once again, the cerebrum, and that's all that's out here on the outside edges. That's all cerebrum. Then you have to know your olfactory bulb, and this one does not have a good olfactory bulb. Here's our olfactory bulb. Here's our olfactory bulb, and then here is our olfactory tract. Then you've got to know your optic nerve. So here's the optic nerve. It comes off. Remember, most of you had that fat that was here that you cut off that was behind the eye. So the optic nerves are on the top going out. Then we have where they come together. This is the optic chiasma. Then down here, these would be our optic tracts. The optic tracts at the bottom, optic nerves at the top, optic chiasma there in the middle. Then the mammillary body is right here around this little hole. The little hole that's right there is the infundibulum, and around that is where we have the mammillary body. Then right here, these are the cerebral peduncles, this part right in here. And then this bulgy area right here, this is the pons, and actually this one, it's kind of hard when everything's gone. This little bit of bulge right here was actually a little bit of the medulla. Then, this is the circle of Willis. I can pretty much tell you that that won't be on there. This one had a really good circle of Willis. It's a blood vessel that goes around. Usually we don't see that. This is that basilar artery, and so I don't think you'll have that on there either.
So no circle of Willis or
basilar artery. Okay. Yep, they won't be on there. Then your brain stem. And so here's our midbrain. On this one, here's the pons. Here's a little bit of the medulla. Probably the only part of the brainstem you're going to have is the midbrain. Very few of them have pons. You know, this is like the most medulla, and it's just a little stub that we had it all. No spinal cord, because none of them had spinal cord, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, then this is our mid-sagittal section right here. This is where we have cut it in two. Let me see if it'll let me do my. Let's see there.
Action potential.
I may have to turn it. Yeah, I did grab it. Oh, it's so old. People.
Ooh.
All right, so this is our mid-sagittal section. And on this, once again, you'll have to know this is our cerebrum. You will have to know this is the cerebellum. You'll have to know this is the midbrain right in here. We've got just a little bit right there of that pons. You can kind of see there's a little depression right there, and so that's where the pons would be. This is the massa intermedia. We have the corpus callosum at the top. We have the fornix here at the bottom. This one lost its pineal body, but this was one of the best ones that I had. Pineal body is going to be right there. Looks kind of like a little bean. Then this is that optic chiasma, the corner of it, the edge of it where we've cut it in two. So when you cut right through there, you can see that. When you cut through this part, then now we're looking at the side view of where you cut through that. So that's what we see right here. Then in here, this is the lateral ventricle. This is where I have pulled out and now kind of lost the choroid plexus that was in there, and it'll be pulled out. Then this is the third ventricle, and then our fourth ventricle is right underneath there. So that's where the fourth ventricle would be. And I think I did arborvitae. So this is our cerebellum, and the white part in here, the little branching like trees, that's that arborvitae. Okay, what have I left out on that? Oh, this whole region, remember the fornix, the optic chiasma, the massa intermedia, the pineal body that we lost, that's right in there. That whole region, remember, is the diencephalon.
Can you go over that again?
I will. Fornix right here, massa intermedia right there, and then optic chiasma and our little pineal body that we lost. Then that whole region is our diencephalon. And I think most of you saw the pineal body. That one's really pretty easy. It's just like a little bean that sits right in there. So that one you shouldn't have trouble with it. Oh, the septum pellucidum. That is the region right in here that connects the corpus callosum and the fornix together. It's like a kind of little membrane right in there that holds that part together. And I think that's it. So now let's do some quiz. Let's see what you know. What is this?
Massa intermedia.
Okay. What is that?
Corpus callosum.
Okay. What is this region right here?
Diencephalon.
No, not diencephalon. Is that part right there?
Midbrain.
Midbrain. What is this region right through here?
Fornix.
Diencephalon.
That's your diencephalon. What is this?
Arbor something.
The whole thing. And then what's our little white pattern?
Arborvitae.
Arborvitae. What is this little stuff that I pulled out of in here?
Plexus is something.
Choroid plexus. What is this cavity right in there?
Something ventricle.
What is that?
Lateral ventricle.
Lateral ventricle. What is this right here?
Third.
What? I thought I heard it, but I wasn't sure.
Third ventricle.
Third ventricle. What is this under here?
Fourth.
Yeah, and you probably won't have that because so many of them lost their cerebelli that I bet you won't have that. What are these? Okay. What is that?
Gyri.
What?
Gyri.
Okay. What's this whole thing?
Cerebrum.
What is this?
Up.
What's that?
Optic chiasma.
No.
What's that?
Thing up there at the end. Kind of like,
What is that?
this is your olfactory bulb. And then what's this coming down off of it?
Where? I can't tell what we're looking at.
Olfactory
I cannot tell.
What is olfactory function? Smell. Okay. What is this little hole?
Infundibulum.
Okay. What's the area around that?
The mammillary body.
Okay. What are these? optic nerves. So what is this?
Oh, no.
What's that right there?
Chiasma.
Okay, and then what would these be?
Tract.
Tracts. What is this?
Longitudinal.
Okay. What is this? And what is this whole thing? Okay. And what is a name for these four parts?
Corpus quadrate, something.
Four quadrigemina. What are these two?
Superior oliculi.
Okay, so what are those two?
Inferior.
And the midbrain's part of what?
Brainstem.
Brainstem. What have I left out? What do y'all need to see? What are you not sure about? Whatever you want to see, I will point out.
Where's the
The infundibulum. It is the hole. Right there. It's that little hole. That's where the pituitary was, where you pulled off the pituitary. What else do you need?
The medulla oblongata.
We are medulliless.
So the massa intermedia is the thalamus.
Correct. So any function of the thalamus will work for the massa intermedia.
Does it matter which one we write down?
Does not. Just need one. What do you need to see?
Can you show the olfactory bulb and tract?
I can show the olfactory bulb and the tract again. And this one's a pretty good one. So it's this little white area and it's up at the front. It's anterior. Goodness. So it's up here at the front, and then that's the bulb. Then the tract goes down the side from it. The tract is right here. Olfactory bulb, and it's kind of whitish. It's not as white as it looks up there, but it is whitish, and then kind of creamy color. And then down here is your tract.
Where's the fornix?
Fornix is this bottom part. We got the corpus callosum on top, we got the fornix on the bottom. It's the bottom of that white. And it's one, I'm not sure
My brain that connects those two together. What is it called?
about its function. I think its function may be hard for you to find. Do I have function on it? I think I do. Where is it? And its smell. That's one of the things you could do, is that it functions in smell. I should have told sixth period that, and I didn't. Because I think for some reason it's hard for you to find that. Maybe because it's in the lab and you all don't read the lab.
So the corpus callosum is the top part.
And the corpus callosum is the top part. And then that region right in there, that's our diencephalon. With the fornix, and the optic chiasma, and the massa intermedia, and our missing pineal body. The pineal body will be on here. Because most of those have one. And if I've still got some back there, so if I like cut one of these open, it'll be there. Anything else you need to see?